Welcome to another guest-filled episode of In the Chute. Um, we are happy to have Lisa with us today. Hi,
Sure you
honey. What do you got for us, Galen?
Well, it's another mom-centric question because why? It's dealing with babies. We are at the end of April and we're possibly a couple weeks away, possibly a month or so away from foals. We're about to get new equine individuals onto the ranch,
Yep.
potentially one with longer ears than the others and makes
Rabbits?
funny noises. We're hoping.
Rabbit?
Yeehaw.
Anywho, the question is, what goes into imprinting the foals? Is it enjoyable? Is it fun? How long does it take? Mom centric questions. How do you take care of the babies when they get cold? What do you do with them? Do you ever worry about them? Are you going to put blankets on them? Are you going to give them cookies, oatmeal, milk? What are you going to do? So with that, I hand it back to you.
So our first mare is potentially due on April 24th.
Oh, so okay. By the time this airs,
Days
we're filming
away.
in January. By the time this airs, it might have already happened. Okay.
Might. So that's the first potential date. And so with any luck, the girls are going to arrange this so that we don't have more than one on a single day, or even like within 2 or 3 days of each other. It'd be very nice if everybody would just kind of give us 5 to 6 day window
Why do you
before
say
they
that?
had, because when they're firstborn, you to imprint, you want to go out there if you could 4 times a day would be awesome. I know when we were at Shepherd, we did at least two in the morning, usually when I got home from work, and then usually later because it's lighter longer, try and do a third one before dark, to go out and just talk to them and do the imprinting and get them used to people and picking up feet and putting your fingers in their nose and their mouth and them not having a fit and throwing their head all over the place.
Teaching them to lead.
Teaching them to lead and just kind of playing with them, really. We've had a couple, they like their butt rubbed, all of them, don't they?
Yeah.
And you get to rub on their back and rub on their butt. And we had a couple of them, I remember, that I'd go out and I'd start rubbing on them and putting my hands all over them. And then I start rubbing their butt because, that was the fun thing. And you're on your knees and you got a hold of them. And this particular colt, she would just lay in my lap. And so she just lay over. Do you remember that one? Were you? I think
No,
it
I
was when you
don't.
were in high school, but she just lay in my lap. She was a little sorrel, and I'd rub her, and it was like she was a dog. She'd just lay
I think she
back.
laid on you one time and knocked you over, and
She
she was
did.
laying on top of you. You couldn't get up.
Yeah, yeah. Dad and I went out, and she was on top of me, and we are both giggling. Well, the horse wasn't, but Dad and I were, and giggling about it. And it was, she's just wanting to be a baby. And so foals are fun. And the biggest problem is the mare. Is she hey, I'm happy to see you, give me a break kind of mare? Or is she a turn around and leave kind of mare?
Mhm.
Don't touch my baby.
Don't touch my baby. And most of ours have been very good. We do have two new girls that are going to have babies this spring that I'm worried about because they don't know us very well. So in the next, before they have their babies, we need them in the corral and we need to be
We'll put them in a small pasture.
familiarizing themselves with us so that they don't view us as a threat when we go out
And
to.
we'll seine them with grain and teach them,
Yeah.
you get a little, you come up to us, you get a little bite of grain.
And that's the deal. When I go out to play with babies, mom gets grain. So I usually bring some grain out, fill up a little
Help supplement with a little milk
yeah, I help
production too.
give her some grain to keep her occupied while I grab baby. And then she's pretty happy usually to see me. Dad's mare, Raina, years ago, she loved Dad. Loved Dad. She would run across 160 acres to see Dad if she heard his pickup. She didn't care about anybody else, didn't want anybody else to touch her until she had a baby and I came out with the bucket.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she would come up to me and she's like, well, hi, how you doing today? And she loved me during those times, but that was the only time she loved me.
Kind of like tying a pork chop around your neck.
It kind of was, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I usually go out and do a lot of that. The thing is though, I'd say the first 3 days, I have no problem holding them and keeping them, right there.
You
They
can kind
get,
of manhandle them.
yeah. And they get strong and they get fast
yeah.
very quickly. And I'm always excited if I can hold them longer, but it's usually just because they like being petted and played with. It's not so much that I'm terribly strong.
Well, and if I remember correctly, that's part of the reason why you guys waited for me when I came home last summer, was because you waited a little too long to get a hold of them. It was a little difficult for Dad to do it by himself, so I had to try
Yeah.
and hold them while Dad
Well,
held her.
Yeah.
the other part of that is that we were moving your mother up here at exactly the same
Yeah.
Time
It was
that she was
horrible
born.
timing.
The timing was terrible. And you want to get that imprinting done the first 10 days. And then usually we let them kind of be with mom. And then we'll just go out periodically and we'll play with them and talk to them. Typically by the end of 10 days, if you come back a week later, those little ones, they remember you and they come up to you and they'll talk to you. And so that's what our ultimate goal is, that they will want to come to us, that they won't run away. And as far as worrying about them being cold, yes, I always worry about them being cold if it's rainy or something. That's why I'm trying to get trees and shrubs up to create barriers so they can hide behind them. Ultimately, I would like a shed in every area that those horses and babies could be. And, by the time I die, I might get to accomplish that a little at a time. We'll see.
Well, that's Imprinting Foals from Mom's take on Lorraine.